tetanus vaccine causes infertility, we are trying to make our women infertile. No, it's not true.
On the Point of View with Bernard Avle, every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Day 4. Now this promises to be a long day of discovery. Waking up at the Ganas Hotel and enjoying a sumptuous breakfast, we are ready. Experience the display of fashion and all sorts of artifacts and memorabilia. Conversations with patrons, with drivers, with vendors. Then we head out to Paga. At the Pagapio Palace, a beautiful reception awaits with all the dance and pageantry. Watch out for Day 4 Part 1 of the Heritage Caravan Diaries.
Sweet, sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this: a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes, just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama, just to remind Mama how truly beautiful she is. Join us on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the Citi Gardens, number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the A Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner now. For more enquiries, call 020 5973973. The Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano. I'm Frema Edunyame. Coming up. One person battling for his life while 6 others sustain varying degrees of injuries as a 3-story building collapses at Old Botiano in the South municipality.
This is a big surprise because there was nothing that indicates that this building could collapse. I mean, look at the building. I mean, there was no sign.
The Trades Union Congress leads protest against Sunan Asogli Power Limited over dismissal of 3 workers of the company.
Today, we are demonstrating to the whole world that unions in this country will exercise their right.
Also in the bulletin, court dismisses injunction application on election of Eastern Regional Executives of the National Democratic Congress.
If they had been restrained, what it would mean is that we don't have any regional executive for the entire Eastern region. So it was a very important ruling. the ruling.
And later, Ghana Water Company Limited cuts water supply to Guinness Ghana for non-payment of bills. Meanwhile, Brewery Company debunks claims.
Guinness is showing no faith to pay the tariff which have been given to the industry, and so this is the reason why we are here to disconnect them.
Now in our first story, one person is in critical condition while 6 others have sustained varying degrees of injuries after a church auditorium collapsed on them at Old Botiano in the South municipality of the Greater Accra region. The 3-story auditorium of the Word in Action Church collapsed on Tuesday morning while construction work was ongoing. Correspondent Calvis Tete has more in the following report.
Just behind me is the Word in Action Chapel at Old Botiano in the Greater Accra region. This church collapsed in the early hours of this morning, forcing church members to rush here. The over 500 sitting capacity of the church is down. We'll be engaging the National Disaster Management Organization and some church leaders on the matter. According to an eyewitness who spoke to us on site, the 7 construction workers heard a loud noise prior to the building collapsing, and this led to the eventual collapse of the building. 7 persons who were injured have been rushed to the Botiano Polyclinic, but one of them, who is in critical condition, has been transferred to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Because they don't from the Sisuni, the national the pillars on the entrance view, it's pillars in Beguno. So, allow say, yeah, I just saw sorry man a bit to me at Teresa because here into me we are inside. Yeah, sorry, might be about workers spend a year.
But a member of the church gives us a better understanding of the situation. According to her, they worshipped here on Sunday and did not notice any crack in the premises. She is surprised that the church has collapsed. Tell us, how long have you been churching here?
About 1.5 years now.
And when was this building put up?
I can't tell. I can't tell. I joined the church about 1.5 years ago.
Okay, so what happened here?
Well, I was called that our church building was coming down, so I came to take a look at what was happening.
Okay, let's look. Prior to a building collapsing, there will be signs. Just this past Sunday, you were in church. Mm-hmm. Did you notice anything?
No, there was no sign. There was nothing. I mean, this is a big surprise because there was nothing that indicates that this building could collapse. I mean, look at the building. I mean, there was no sign. As we are all surprised at what has happened here, but we thank God that nobody was hurt. There hasn't been any casualty. I mean, nobody was hurt, so we thank God.
Okay. We also heard that there were some individuals who were around, whether they were working or
not. One guy and a couple of people who were around, and so they were taken to the hospital and they are fine. It's disheartening. I mean, we are shocked, we are surprised, and all the adjectives you can use, but we thank God for one thing, that no human life was lost. And we give praise to God, because if you look at what has happened here and no human life was lost, it means that God is on our side. He has protected us, He has taken us out of this misery, and we thank Him for that.
Can I say that maybe some of the materials that were used in this thing?
I am not an engineer, I cannot speak to that.
The National Disaster Management Organization in the South municipality quickly rushed to the scene to begin a search and rescue operation. The 7 persons who were rescued have been rushed to the hospital. But NADMO says they are yet to determine the immediate cause of the accident. Wanda Matthew speaks for the National Disaster Management Organization in the South municipality.
For now, I can't bring out any assessments yet, simply because the engineers are now trying to work on it and then bring their assessment. So for now, we can't say anything. It is the engineers who will bring their findings for now. But what I can say now is we have only, them themselves said there are only 7 in the building. And those 7 are all injured. So they've taken them to what do you call this place? Botiano Hospital. And one has been transferred to Kolebu. So that was it.
Experts have begun questioning the structural integrity of the building. ADO2 Alex Nate speaks for the Ghana National Fire Service in the Greater Accra region.
So hurriedly, our men from Wager were dispatched to the scene to offer their assistance to see if there were any lives lost. So they had to call in for our rescue team from our national. So we had to do our further checks with our collaborative agencies like NADMO, the police, and the municipal assemblies to be sure if there was truly no one left trapped in there. And truly, we were able to confirm that there were just 7 people who were working on site who were injured. As it stands, 6 of them are currently receiving medical attention at Botiano Polyclinic. The one person is in a very critical condition, has been rushed to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital for much more medical care. And one thing that we also realized is that in our discussion with the municipal assemblies, it came to light that the church didn't have the requisite permit to have this building. They had an initial permit that was granted to them, but per the checks of the municipal assemblies, they realized that the church was building something other than the plan they had brought earlier that was approved. So their permit was revoked. So as it stands now, they didn't even have a permit for the building and then the extension they were doing. So as it stands now, we can say that working theory is that they were operating without a permit from the municipal assembly.
Over 7 persons are believed to have gotten injured as a result of the collapse of the church just behind me. This is the Word in Action Church at Old Botiano in the Greater Accra region. Church members say the issue has taken them by surprise and they are worried that the church has collapsed. Authorities from the National Disaster Management Organization are here to ascertain the situation. Carl Estete, Citi News, Old Botiano.
Now in some other news, the Trades Union Congress, TUC, on Tuesday, May 9, 2023, demonstrated against Sunan Asogli Power Limited for its refusal to reinstate 3 dismissed workers who are local union executives of the Congress. According to the union, the workers had their contracts terminated because they decided to join the Ghana Mine Workers Union under the Trades Union Congress. But Sunan Asogli has refuted such claims, explaining that the workers were dismissed due to the union's unlawful operations in the company. The following report has more.
Clad in red and black were members of the Trades Union Congress protesting in solidarity with the Ghana Mine Workers Union, a union under the Trades Union Congress. They are protesting what they describe as the wrongful dismissal of 3 of their local union executives who happen to be workers of Sunan Asogli Power Limited. According to them, their members were dismissed from the company because they decided to join the union, but Sunan Asogli has refuted such claims. Speaking to the media, the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Yauba, says he remains positive that the workers will be reinstated.
We workers in Ghana are not against any investor coming to Ghana. No. But Sunan Asogli's $750 million cannot buy our rights.
No way! No way! No way!
So today, we are demonstrating to the whole world that unions in this country will exercise their rights. Yes. We will not allow our 3 colleagues to be dismissed. Yes. Our demand is very simple, and we have made it very clear to the employer that our 3 colleagues must be reinstated.
They must be reinstated!
And we will fight and fight and fight until they are reinstated. And we know that the goal that has brought us here will be achieved. Inshallah.
The dismissed union leaders are the branch union secretary, assistant secretary, and the chairperson. The protest was devoid of violence. The police ensured law and order. Barricades were mounted 200 meters away from the company to prevent the protesters from entering the premises. Abdul Mumin Bana is the General Secretary of the union, and he indicated that the dismissal is a deliberate attempt to cripple the formation of the union in the company.
A Chinese employer called Sunan Asogli. Our rights as workers are being abused by a Chinese employer called Sunan Asogli. Are we going to sit down for this to happen? Will we sit down for this to happen? Shall we sit down for this to happen? Choboy! 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 They dismissed 3 of our leaders, our union leaders. Do we not come from different companies? Choboy! Choboy! Why must Sunan Asogli be different? No! Why must Sunan Asogli be different? No! Choboy! Choboy! We will not sit down for this to happen to us. No! Our 3 union leaders must be reinstated.
Dr. Yaoban, however, revealed that the Trade Union Congress will not relent in ensuring their demands are met. He added that a series of actions have been lined up to ensure Sunan Asogli reinstates the dismissed workers.
We will go on and on until we get our 3 colleagues reinstated. It's a process. We are law-abiding. We don't want to have any confrontation with the police. That's why I'm asking all colleagues to go back. Now, this is the first action. The second action will follow very, very soon. And we expect government to act. If government doesn't want to do anything, we will do something. We met management and we asked them, our 3 colleagues, what have they done? The answer is that they have not done anything. And I want to repeat, they said they have not done anything, but they are sacking them because the company doesn't need their services. These are people who have worked between 6 and 10 years. Immediately after they were elected, all 3 of them were sacked. Going forward, we want government to act. We want the employers themselves to act. We want them to understand that you cannot colonize Ghana again.
Members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum continued their picketing at the Finance Ministry on Tuesday, demanding government to pay all outstanding coupons and principals on their bonds. Now, this is the second time the group of pensioners is implementing the tactic after they successfully secured an issuer exemption from the Domestic Debt Exchange Program in February. Now, Charles Osukumi was there for Citi News and has more. Charles, tell us more.
Well, Frema, today marks day 2 of the picketing at the Finance Ministry by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. Now, members of this group since yesterday have been picketing the Finance Ministry in protest of government's failure to pay outstanding coupons and principals on their investments. Also, they complain about the level of communication that's coming out of the Finance Ministry. They say that they expect government to be forthcoming with information that they can use to plan their lives.
If you exempt somebody, then you don't come back and say, let me discuss with you. It is the person who stepped out that you are saying, look, you stepped out, but now I'm finding it difficult. But this one I exempted because I am sure that together with those who joined, I can pay them. Fine, that is it. Then now, we come 21st, you say that we said no. Then we give you up to 28th. Then you announce that you will pay all before the end of the month. It is just fair at a certain level to maintain your integrity and your word. Because you have told the whole world and you have told us, your creditors, that I'll pay everything before me. Now what happens? Nothing happens. We are now in May. Early March, bills have not been paid. Then suddenly when we say we'll go, you start paying. You are paying it in pieces. Today you pay 6th, then you come to 20th, then there's another 6th which is outstanding, and we have to figure out what is happening. If you have a problem, I think in all fairness, because you wrote and stood in front of Parliament and on behalf of the Finance Ministry said, and on behalf of the government of Ghana said, I have exempted you. Tell the person, I have a problem. These specific dates, I'll pay these amounts. The person can also plan, go to bed.
Of course, it's ideal. People would have peace of mind. They know, look, come next week, come 2 weeks' time. Because all the coupons are paid at 6 months interval. So people plan with their resources. If others have several bonds, so they've staggered it. They know that every month I'll get 1,000, I'll get this, I will use it for that, I'll use for this. That is the purpose of going into these government bonds, which is supposed to be the most secure for a pensioner who doesn't want aiding. And in most cases, that's the investment with the lowest return.
I'm sure you've heard most of us say that we are all dependent on the coupons because our pensions are not too much. So this is what we depend on to buy, our medications, fend for ourselves, cater for ourselves, and not just for us, but also for those who are also dependent on us. Widows, orphans, the needy, the sick, etc., etc. So it's not just about us, it's also about all those who are dependent on us, and so it is not all going well for us.
Now, throughout our coverage of the protests by the pensioner bondholders, one thing that's come up is that these pensioners are not just protesting for themselves, but also their dependents. They say their dependents are more affected than they themselves. We're fortunate to have with us a 92-year-old woman who says that her daughter's earnings from the bonds is what keeps her going. We'll try and find out how the non-payment of these bonds is affecting her life. Your daughter invested money that your husband left for you, to be able to take care of these things in your old age. And now government is not making these payments as scheduled. And so you're unable to buy your drugs.
I'm not able to buy them. They're not even more expensive. Most of them, they're expensive. So I'm not able to buy my drugs for my health, to take care of my health, and to pay my staff. Well, I'm supporting because I cannot work. I don't do anything. I depend on them. The carers, there are two of them. Coming from, I employed, they come to take care, rotate. And then the one who preparing my meals, who prepared my meals daily. And though the cleaners, the one who sweep, and then the garden man, they all come to take care of me. I have to pay them. You see, how do I do that now if I don't have my money? If they're my bond, if they're not releasing to me regularly, how do I look after them? How do I survive? That's my big question. I just want to tell the finance minister to have some compassion on the people like me, an old aged woman, who cannot do anything now. We have also served this nation before. So he should let me have whatever is my due. He should let me have it.
These pensioner bondholders fought very hard in February to get exemption from the domestic debt exchange program. So I asked Dr. Edward Nanyantwi, the convener for the group, if this is not enough grounds to go to court to force the ministry to pay them their monies.
We won't go to court. Court processes. You can't wait for your coupon when you are in court and you are dying. No. We must put pressure on government to pay us. We won't go to court. The maturity, we have one yesterday. So until it is cleared up to yesterday, government still has outstanding. And we are clear. We say pay all outstandings before we stop the picketing.
But isn't that asking for too much?
It is not too much. It's our money.
My name is Charles Osukumi. I've been reporting from the Finance Ministry for Citi News.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom, still to come. Ghana Water Company Limited cuts water supply to Guinness Ghana for non-payment of bills. Meanwhile, Brewery Company debunks claims. We have the details coming up shortly. Don't go away.
Today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Hello again. The Ghana Water Company Limited has cut water supply to Guinness Ghana Limited in Achimota. The company is accused of failing to pay its bills amounting to over 6 million cedis. There is more in the following report filed by Citi News' Victoria Bonto and read by Kweku Ejema Ansa.
As part of its national revenue mobilization drive, the Ghana Water Company Limited on Tuesday cut water supply to beverage manufacturing company Guinness Ghana Limited for owing 6.7 million Ghana cedis. The Ghana Water Company Limited says several letters to the company to get it to pay its debts yielded no results. Addressing the media after the disconnection, Regional Chief Manager of the Accra East region of the Ghana Water Company Limited, Engineer Emmanuel Johnson, said the company will need to pay its bills before water supply is restored.
Plan with us. Some are prepared to pay for the rest of the money. Some are prepared to pay, and but Guinness is showing no faith to pay the tariff which have been given to the industry, and so this is the reason why we are here to disconnect them, because we have had a series of meetings. Even last week, Tuesday, we had a meeting with them, and based on that, they were supposed to meet us at 10 o'clock today and draw a payment plan for us, but they didn't turn up. They didn't give us any indication. Upon the mails that we sent them, they didn't give us any indication that they are coming. And so that's why we are here, and we are here to disconnect them.
But we noticed that you went to take them off over there instead of the main entrance. Why did you do so and then had to disconnect them from behind?
Inside there's a valve. There's a meter. It's an electronic meter. We could have disconnected them there, but we want to disconnect them on the sluice valve. So that's why we went to the junction to disconnect them. And that line is a dedicated line to them. So it affects only them.
Meanwhile, Guinness Ghana Limited has denied reports its water supply has been cut. The company, in a statement to Citi News, says its breweries in Accra and Kasi in the Ashanti region are still in operation. According to the beverage company, it has been compliant in the payment of its water bills while it awaits resolution from a petition to the PURC on what it terms arbitrary recategorization by the Ghana Water Company Limited. It adds that the company has been engaging the PURC, the Ghana Water Company Limited, and the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources on the matter, pending the outcome of the petition.
Let's now talk politics. Flag bearer hopeful of the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Kwabena Dofo, has filed a suit at the High Court in Accra seeking to enjoin the NDC presidential primaries slated for Saturday, May 13. The former finance minister is alleging that the photo album register provided for the purpose of the election is incomplete and contains inaccuracies that may be aimed at creating undue advantage for the manipulation of the presidential primaries. In a writ cited by Citi News, Dr. Dufour alleged that the party failed to provide him the photo album in time for verification, and when it was done, the number of constituencies were 220. He further alleged that 3,910 voters have been disenfranchised and an exceptional list of 74,799 voters have been created to take part in the elections whose identities cannot be verified because of scanty information. Meanwhile, the High Court in Koforidua has dismissed an application for interlocutory injunction filed by the former Eastern Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, against the new regional executives of the party. The former chairman, John Owusu Amankwa, was seeking to injunct the regional executives from holding themselves as executives while praying the court to annul the regional elections held on the 19th of December 2022 and hold fresh elections. Citi News' Neil Ni Amate Kanako followed the court proceedings and has the details.
The former Eastern Regional Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Owusu Amankwa, popularly known as Jowak, immediately after the party's regional congress, through his lawyers, filed an application to injunct the newly elected executives. In addition to the lawsuit, he filed an application for an injunction asking the court to order the duly elected regional executives from holding themselves as the executives of the party in the region, and also for the court to direct for a fresh elections to be held. This application essentially was going to incapacitate or stop the executives and the party from undertaking any activity in the region until the court had decided the case. Jowak, in his case, indicated that he is the only person who has the power under the NDC constitution to organize the conference. The presiding judge, Justice William Osekufo, after earlier considering the submissions by both lawyers and carefully examined documents brought by both parties, dismissed the application, indicating that the reliefs lacks merit based on Article 18(2) of the party's constitution. Counsel for the defense and the chairman of the Eastern Regional NDC legal team, Isaac Mintalabi, spoke to the media after the judgment.
The court said that the entire application is not warranted, and so he has dismissed it. So at this stage, the case will have to die a natural death. And then, we are one family. Normally, in matters like this, we even take cost. But we didn't ask for cost because we are one family. We may have to take steps to, amend our wounds, so we can go and fight our common enemy at this stage. To the duly elected regional executives of the Eastern region.
The Eastern Regional First Vice Chairman of the party, Ransford Oseibuachi, and the Deputy Regional Treasurer, Obibini Late, who welcomed the judgment, describing it as a relief, called on the aggrieved parties to come on board.
We are all NDC members, and this win or this ruling is a win for all of us as a party, not necessarily the current executives, for all of us. It will allow the party in the region to operate successfully. Tomorrow there will be a meeting. Thursday, there will be a meeting of the constituencies in preparation towards the Saturday's election. So we are happy. We are happy that at least there is still confidence in the courts.
Former Attorney General of Ghana, Maretta Briu-Apia-Opon, who represented the national body of the party in court on Tuesday, while admonishing all party members to use the party's internal conflict resolution mechanisms, called on both parties to unite and focus on the main goal to win the 2024 general elections.
As much as possible, use the internal mechanisms to try and resolve your issues. We are not saying that nobody has a right to go to court. Everybody has a right under the 1992 Constitution to take a matter to court. But we have, as a family, we have internal mechanisms. So let's try and use those mechanisms to resolve our issues.
Today's judgment by the court has been a welcoming news for the Eastern Regional Executives of the National Democratic Congress. We are happy about today's judgment and are hoping to unite for the greater good of the party and for the upcoming general elections. For Citi News, Neo Ni Amati Kanaku, Koforidua High Court.
Now, still on the NDC, branch executives and ward coordinators of the party in the Menchia South constituency are threatening to place an injunction on the May 13 primaries in the region if the national executives do not lift the ban exempting them from the upcoming primaries. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Amin Ibrahim reports.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, is expected to conduct its parliamentary and presidential primaries on Saturday, May 13, 2023. In the Ashanti region, however, delegates from only 44 out of the 47 constituencies will be part of Saturday's exercise. The 3 constituencies where the primaries will not be taking place include Menchia South, Adansi Asokwa and Fomena. According to the party, the primaries for Adansi Asokwa and Fomena have been put on hold by the party's leadership due to strategic reasons. For Menchia South, it has been exempted from the primaries because some persons have raised issues regarding the credibility of the election that brought some executives of the constituency to office. The party thus says it does not want such persons to vote in the primaries to potentially affect the credibility of the presidential and parliamentary primaries. The suspension of the election is, however, being challenged by the NDC branch executives and ward coordinators of the constituency. They are alleging that there is a deliberate attempt by some national and regional executives, including National Chairman Johnson Asiedun Ketia and National Organizer Joseph Yamin, to impose one rata entry on the constituency as the parliamentary candidate, hence the suspension.
These notable individuals, one, Mr. Johnson Asiedun Ketia, the national chairman, Mr. Joseph Yamin, national organizer, Mr. Isham Alasan, regional organizer, and the unmasked individual rata entry, aka Amunu. The unmasked individual rata entry has together connived with the above individuals to cause the suspension and deprived all branch executives to partake in choosing both their flag bearer and their parliamentary candidates. We would like to use this medium to address salient issues relative to our delegate list and the entire constituency.
Speaking at a news conference in Kumasi, the disgruntled branch executives and ward coordinators threatened to place an injunction on the 13th May NDC primaries in the Ashanti region. The group has thus issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the National Executive Committee to ensure the withdrawal of the suspension. The leadership of the National Democratic Congress in the Ashanti region were not immediately available to react to the allegations being raised by the disgruntled party members. For Citi News, I am Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Kumasi.
Now, 3 constituencies in the Greater Accra region will hold only NDC presidential primaries. Parliamentary primaries in these 3 constituencies will not take place because their sitting members of parliament have no contenders. Citi News' Philip Ni-Latte has details of the story in the following report.
As some parliamentary candidate hopefuls in the Greater Accra region are battling competition to win the primaries on Saturday, May 13, others are in the race unopposed. The 3 are Madina, Okankwe North and Ablikuma South constituencies. Theophilus Tetechai is the General Secretary of the NDC in the Greater Accra region.
Technically, we are doing 32 for now, and out of the 32, which gave us 125, we've been able to vet 122. That's excluding Ayawaso West. Then out of the 122, we've disqualified 4 aspirants. 4 aspirants out of it. And then 3 of the constituencies went unopposed. That is Ablikuma South. Honorable Okova Napoy is going unopposed. Honorable Susu for Madina is also going unopposed. And then Honorable Teresa Awuni
is also going unopposed.
In the Medina constituency, the race was between incumbent MP Francis Xavier Sosu and Prince Moses Zakaria. Mr. Moses Zakaria was disqualified at the vetting stage, after which he declared to contest the Medina seat as an independent candidate in the 2024 elections.
I have served since 1998 and have officially been a member of it since 2013, has just thrown me out. And I am saying, if that is the case, because our elders have allowed Sosu and the constituency executives to undertake several machinations against me within Medina, I am declaring my independence candidature immediately. I will ensure that Sosu does not go back to Parliament, inshallah.
But Francis Xavier Sosu, who is not perturbed, says he has represented the people of Medina very well in Parliament.
The first 4 years he tried, even though he won the vote at the primaries, he couldn't win the main election. The second 4 years he won the main election. The third 4 years, the second 4 years when he won, we were in opposition, like I am now. The third one when he won, we were now in power. The fourth one, we're in power again. The last one was when he lost in 2016. And so when you compare the fact that we gave Sorogo 20 years as delegate in Medina, and you compare that to me, who is just a new entrant, and I've served them for just 2 years in Parliament, what would be the basis of even comparison in the first place? So I believe that when you do an objective comparison between Honorable Sorogo and myself, who is like the next NDC candidate, and it just stands to reason that the delegates will give me more opportunity to prove what I'm able to do. Because within this last 2 years in Parliament, I believe that I've represented their interests.
In the Ablekuma South constituency, the race was between Ni Amasakote and incumbent MP Dr. Alfred Okovandapoy. Mr. Amasakote exited from the contest after he was disqualified by the vetting committee. The absence of Ni Amasakote in the race means Dr. Alfred Okovandapoy is the parliamentary candidate for the Ablekuma South constituency.
The decision and the reason is that when the people elect their member of parliament, they elect you to contribute to the development of this country. So NDC is looking forward to coming back to power with John Dramani Mahama, our former president, as president of the Republic of Ghana. And Okovandapoy will have the opportunity to be, I believe, a member of the government of the NDC. And with the experience with which I worked for 8 years under the NDC administration, I will have the experience and what it takes to contribute meaningfully to the development of this country.
The situation is no different in the Okankwe North constituency because the Member of Parliament, Theresa Ladi Awuni, is facing no competition in the parliamentary primaries race. She says the decision by delegates to allow her for the second time lead the NDC in the constituency into the 2024 elections signifies the confidence they have in her.
The trust my people have reposed in me, it is a challenge they have given me. Other candidates are equally qualified to come, but these delegates around here sent a signal that they were not ready to go into any competition whatsoever. It is a challenge they have given me, that go in peace and deliver. And that is what I am assuring them, that we are coming to deliver Okankwe North and bring His Excellency John Dramani Mahama come 2020. Politics is about the people. There are people who go and canvass votes in the gutters, in the ghettos, and when they win, those people don't matter. I am still with my people regardless, because the lawyer has one vote, the ghetto guy has one vote, the police officer has one vote, the woman in the market has one vote. And so I give my people the attention that they deserve. I give the people the importance. I make them feel important, because without them I'm a nobody.
This is the Citi Newsroom, still to come. Parliamentary candidates in Dom Kwabenya constituency poised for victory in Saturday's polls. We'll be right back with the details. Please stay.
Sweet mothers, how could we ever forget you? This year, on Mother's Day, we plan to do quite the festive opposite. What better way to show out for our beloved matriarchs than an entire evening dedicated to celebrating the phenomenon that is motherhood. Mama's boys and mama's girls, for all their love and sacrifices, here comes the ultimate Mother's Day gift. Picture this, a flavorous Ghanaian spread with countless mouth-watering treats, just like Mama's cooking. A glitzy dance floor serenaded by Mama's favorite tunes just for Mama to boogie. And a stunningly intricate portrait of Mama just to remind Mama how truly beautiful she is. Join us on Sunday, the 14th of May 2023 at 4 p.m. for an enchanting evening of appreciation and enjoyment for our feminine support systems. The venue is at the Citi Gardens, number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, and the rate is a cool 350 Ghana cedis. It's going to be an evening of Ghanaian food, dance, and the celebration of motherhood. So book now and secure a seat for Mama at the Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner now. For more enquiries, call 020-5973-973. The Portrait of Mama Mother's Day dinner is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM and is sponsored by Dano Milk and Tasty Tom.
Hello again. NDC parliamentary candidates in the Dom Kwabenya constituency are poised for victory in the upcoming polls on Saturday. 3 candidates are racing to lead the NDC in the constituency, a seat which has always been won by the New Patriotic Party. Citi News' Akosia Oche has been exploring the chances of the candidate and has come through with the following report.
Formed prior to the 2004 elections, after being carved out of the then Abokobi Madina constituency, Dome Kwabenya, per data from the Electoral Commission, has the highest number of voters in the country with over 170,000 voters. It has been the stronghold of the NPP in the Greater Accra region. The NPP has won the parliamentary seat since the creation of the constituency. In the last parliamentary race, the incumbent Member of Parliament for the area, Sarah Adjosafo, polled 75,000, representing 58.35% of the total votes. Faustina Alikli Makrugu of the NDC also polled 32,262. That represents 40.64%. While the NDC is breaking its back to win the 2024 general election, it also wants to win more parliamentary seats, including the strongholds of the NPP. So, the three candidates contesting the Dome-Kwabenya seat on the ticket of the NDC are businessman and entrepreneur Israel Kwekumensa Susuli, Theophilus Edumensa, and the 2020 candidate Faustina Eliklim Akurogo, whose chances are high and must be given an opportunity to lead the party for the constituency.
Susuli can deliver this seat in Dome-Kwabenya because he can do it.
He can do it. What can he do?
Last 4 years, these are the new win, but he supports the constitution.
He did a lot.
CEC, even the former PC, Israel supports the former PC. The election, everything that we do in this constituency.
So now you are not supporting Eliklim again?
No. Because Eliklim, the former PC can never
do the work.
Israel contributed immensely towards that. Resources, and then himself graced the occasion. Reorganization, you would note that any serious party where they assault, who intends to win power in the next elections, start with the base. So the reorganization of the branches, he was there very solidly. He helped facilitate comrades who were struggling with their filing and dues. He did largely that, very well with that. Indeed, on election day, I missed one point. There was a group that contributed to the expenditure on election day. You'll find that that's a very, very key aspect of every election. Election day activities. If you get that right, you get things right. He contributed. Indeed, he was one of the biggest donors to that, himself and a few friends of his.
We are okay with the MPP. They should stop taking the seats. The NDC will do better. And with our leader, JM, we know we'll do better. And Israel will help us to do better. You support Israel? Oh, sure. Why? Because he's the best man for the job. We know what he's done, even whilst he's not a PC. He's supporting us with health insurance. He's helping the constituency acquire the best for our welfare. What else do we need from such a person?
Israel Susuli, self-assured and bold.
We are the largest constituency and all eyes on us. This is a constituency that's perceived to be for the ruling MPP. But Israel is saying today that Dome-Kwabenya is a constituency to watch in the 2024 elections. If you see how we're conducting ourselves, even from 2019 when I entered this race, I contested in 2019, you see that there's a change that are coming. In 2019, I was known as a game changer. Today, he's the root of the grassroots. And we're working very hard with the grassroots to turn this story around. I never left them. After 2020 elections, we had other candidates who went to sleep. I've been with them through the reorganization phases. The reason you have our delegates saying all the things they're saying about Israel is the fact that even as an entrepreneur doing his own private business, he tries his best to try and sort these things out in his own small way. So they are seeing the will that it is there. That's why the people are thinking, no, let's give this guy the power to do more.
With all the support from the side of delegates for Israel Susuli, the only female in the contest, Eliklim Akurogo, believes all allegations that she has not been present to support the party in her constituency are false.
Anything that happens within the constituency, being it funerals, being it constructing small bridges, being it any social gathering, Eliklim Akurogo is there. Since we started the process, my message has been simple, that we need a tried and tested candidate. We need an experienced candidate and not an experimental candidate. And so, me being there before, I have the experience and I know almost everything within the Dome-Kwabenya, our problems and how to be able to solve them.
The third man in the race is Theophilus Mensah. He has also been speaking on his bid to be the parliamentary candidate for the constituency.
Yes, I have a lot of policies that I've put in place for the children, for the youths, for the elderly ones and the aged. Actually, I want to give the aged health screening at the comfort of their homes and also subsidize for their healthcare. Most of the youth are unemployed. There are a lot of graduates, polytechnic graduates and university graduates who are in the constituency who are unemployed. They should vote number 3 as yeho, because immediately they vote number 3, that calls for unity. And when there is unity in Dome-Kwabenya, definitely we can easily win the seat. If the delegates will buy into my message, definitely I'll carry the day.
The party executives in the constituency have their preferred candidates, but they still say they will work with anyone who wins the primaries.
I think that Dome-Kwabenya is the biggest and the largest constituency so far. We are doing our best to make sure that this time around we snag the seats from Adjua and the MPP. So obviously we need to get a very good one, a very good candidate. We need to get one who can match either Adjua or Michael Quay Jr. And the delegates knows the best, and I believe they have listened to both aspirants, and now it's clear for them in their minds what they want, our roads especially, but who is to lobby for this type of thing? It is the member of parliament, and we have a member of parliament who don't go to parliament. So definitely we need somebody who will represent us, always be in parliament.
The constituency chairman also spoke on preparations for Saturday's election.
Election on Saturday at Atomic Park, close to the hospital, opposite the police station. In terms of security, everything is intact. We are going to have a very tight security because of 1 or 2 threats that we have gotten, the intel that we have gotten, so we have picked from the grounds. So the security is going to be tight.
In Dome-Kwabenya constituency, 3,232 delegates will be going to the polls this Saturday to elect a candidate for the NDC for the 2024 general elections. Reporting for Citi News, Akosia Ochre, Dome-Kwabenya.
The Ministry of Energy has disclosed that as part of government's effort to contribute to the mitigating climate change, it has devised some strategies to reduce the overall emissions from the power sector as well as minimize its impact. It made this known at an opening ceremony ahead of a simulation spillage dam exercise dubbed Exercise Daohoso 2023 by the Volta River Authority in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, to enhance the readiness of the country's state agencies to respond appropriately to emergencies arising from the release of significant volumes of water from the Akonsobo and Pong dams. There is more in the following report by Citi News' Rachel Eggman and read by Kweku Ejama Ansa.
Over the years, Ghana has invested hugely in disaster risk management. The World Bank's Ghana Climate and Development Report 2022 stated that flooding affects about 45,000 people annually. An expected effect is the increased frequency and magnitude of floods, which the Akosombo and Pong dams are physically exposed to. In an instance of excessive spillage or the unlikely situation of a dam break, it is estimated that over 300,000 people will be potentially affected. Although the Volta River Authority has managed the Akosombo and Pong dams, it is still important to be prepared in case of any eventuality. In view of this, the Volta River Authority, in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, and other relevant stakeholders, will embark on a full-scale simulation exercise on dam spillage, dubbed Exercise Daohoso 2023, on the 11th of May 2023. The exercise will be conducted in 3 potentially affected districts, that is, Esujaman, Ada East and North Tong. The Deputy Chief Executive of Engineering and Operations at the Volta River Authority, Engineer Edward Obenkenzo, giving the keynote address on behalf of the Energy Minister, Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, at the opening ceremony, mentioned some strategies the government has devised to control climate-related disasters.
As part of Ghana's effort to contribute to mitigating climate change, the Ministry of Energy has developed the National Transition Plan, which provides a roadmap for the orderly development of the sector to reduce carbon emission. The ministry has also overseen the installation of several renewable energy projects, including the 50-megawatt solar plant at Bui.
Speaking to the media, the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, gave more insight on the ongoing simulation exercise.
The activity itself is going to be on the 11th of May. So on the 11th of May, we are going to simulate a dam spillage, a water spillage from Akosombo Dam. That will affect some communities. Now, the communities that will be affected will be communities in North Town, communities in Adan East, and communities in Esujaman. We have picked Azizampe, which is an island in Adan East, to do total evacuation. We have picked Jijokope in Esujaman to do what we call search and rescue and compulsory evacuation. And we have also picked Mepe to do what we call voluntary evacuation.
And this is where we part company. We have more news on our website, citinewsroom.com. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV. Many thanks for watching. I'm Frima Edunyame.